Welcome back to another episode of Games to Sleep To, and today we are playing Pygmalion. Pygmalion is a character that I used primarily to climb to legend, but I didn't actually use any of the new items, so excited to see if maybe we could get an interesting one from our start here. So let's see what we've got. No new items, and these items are not particularly powerful. I'm looking at a radiant slingshot, a radiant hatchet, and a deadly halidai. Looking at these items here, the radiant hatchet would at least give us some gold, as it would give us some truffles, and the slingshot does a decent amount of damage early, but truly not enough for me to feel like it's warranted to pick up. However, with this item here, this deadly halidai, I think we could get something to scale alongside it with a plus 50% crit chance. That could actually be pretty powerful, so let's go with that. Looking at our first options here, we could get a small weapon, strange mushroom, visit Andy and see some small weapons. Now, I have a actually rather powerful small weapon here. I'm trying to think about what I would want alongside it. There's not a ton that I would necessarily be happy with this start, but at the same time, on Pygmalion, I like to just get a plethora of items and see what direction we can go with them. I don't really want to spend the 2 gold to reroll here, but I do like filling my board. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spec on getting this tusked helm and these bandages, and I'm going to save the kukri. Don't really want that item. And the reason that we've picked these up here is because if we get something like weights or get something like ganjo, these items are going to perform particularly well for us as they scale, being that the Tusked Helm does damage and shields, so it would get double benefits from Ganjo, and the same for bandages, in that it heals and shields, so we'd get that double benefit. But that's all predicated on us actually getting the item, and let's go into our first fight here. So let's look at our options: Pyro, Haunted Kimono, and Kyber Drone. We don't really have any flame enablers currently, and Pyro's not that strong with a lighter early on unless we get a skill for it. I kind of like the Haunted Kimono here over the Kyber Drone. The Kyber Drone, it can give us crit chance. It can give us a very strong skill in that every time you slow, you gain damage. And that synergizes very well with something like marbles. I'm kind of talking myself into the Kyber Drone. Let's see if we can get that skill and get a little high roll here. And yes, you can take all of your items off the board to defeat the Kyber Drone, but in truth, it just takes longer to do it. It's not necessary, generally speaking, to do so. And it's always just more fun to see your little items go up, Every time that 10 seconds goes off in the Tusk Helm, you feel very rewarded, You spent all that time waiting for this moment to happen, and then boom, there it is. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, looking at some other items here, honestly, if we got a stinger from the drone as well or an insect wing, I'd take it all. These items, let's see what we get. Alright, got some crit chance. Could even bump that up on our halidai. And, ooh, this is a really tough decision here. On Pygmalion, I generally always want to get income. Just having money on Pygmalion will help you scale your items. But again, for those early fights, we really want a Ganjo or weights. This is a little sacrilegious here, but I am going to see if we can hit either the Ganjo or weights. Now, we see a bushel. We see a cash register. And honestly, these are pretty good items in their own right. Not exactly what we're looking for. I'm willing to sell this Eagle Talisman, so we have effectively 9 gold here. And the reason I like Bushel early is 60 heal in the first 2 days of each fight is actually pretty significant. Even just looking at our bandages, this is healing for effectively 10 each fight, or each time it goes off, where the Bushel is healing for 6 times that amount. So it's a pretty large gap between the two. Let's take the Bushel. The cash register also, if I had the money, I'd pick it up, but I think I'm going to roll here and see if we can hit the Ganjo, and we do. So, again, we have $3 that I'm really wanting to work with here. And now I'm thinking, which of our items are we going to sell? The Halidai, I'm going to keep that around. I think that crit chance could be very strong when we start to scale it. And then that's on us to think, do we get the Tusked Helm to have even more damage, or do we sell bandages? I'm going to sell the bandages here. I'm going to put some more crit chance on this Halidai, and I'm going to buy this Ganjo. My thinking here is that if we know we really want to have this damage weapon on board, and that's how we want to win fights, then we're going to want to win fights through damage. And how do we give ourselves more damage? We have this Tusked Helm instead of the bandages. Okay, let's look at our options here. We could go to the tiny furry monster. We don't have a friend. Do we have a toy? We don't have a toy or friend, so we can't get any extra XP off them. We have $0, so JJ is probably not going to do much for us. And then we could get a small non-weapon item. I'm going to take the small non-weapon item. It could be anything, and hey, this jewelry that we picked up synergizes actually pretty well with the bushel. All that said, let's see what this Vanessa has in store for us. Interesting, they have a trebuchet and a hand axe. That trebuchet does a lot of damage, but it doesn't go off very frequently. What's actually most scary about this Vanessa is they have this 5 regeneration, and now that I'm looking at it, this immolating spark, this trebuchet actually does a ton of damage. But again, our weapons are just going off way quicker than our opponent. Let's see if we can maybe get a crit chance on this Halidai. We do, we didn't even need it. But yes, just as what we were talking about before, we're trying to win through damage, so let's maximize on our damage here. All right, day 2. What do we got here? Could get a heal item. Could again go to the tiny furry monster. We could look at some non-weapon items. Because I don't have a lot of gold, I'm really not wanting to spend a lot of money. Frankly, what we have here on board is good enough to defeat most of the early monsters on day 2, so I'm inclined just to get something for free. Let's see what heal item we get. And the bandages. The bandages come right back to us. I'll take it. All right, leveling up here. Let's see what Pip has. Could give crit chance to our items, and we could also increase our burn. You know, oddly enough, we have a crit chance item here, but on Pygmalion, it's pretty difficult to get inherent crit onto your items just through the different items that Pygmalion has available to them. But thinking here, 4 crit chance is not really a lot. 8 crit chance is better, but I kind of want to reroll here to see if we can hit a damage upgrade. So let's do that, and we do. We see left-handed here. The other options, we have arbitrage, which would give us more money for defeating opponents. We have critical protector, and we do have actually some crit chance here, but every time we shield, we get 5 crit chance. It's not terrible, but this is what we're looking for, the left-handed, so plus 20 damage on our Halidai. It's what we're going to take. All right, just as we talked about before, income is so incredibly important on Pygmalion. So we're going to now go to the jungle ruins here instead of getting a heal item or max HP and take plus 2 income. Okay, so rogue scrapper, giant mosquito, warrior. Let's put some more items on board. I think I'm going to put this bushel on board. It'll proc faster with our Tusked Helm. And again, 60 healing is just a ton of healing. I don't really want anything from warrior or giant mosquito, so let's go rogue scrapper and see if we can just keep the XP rolling here. In terms of items that the rogue scrapper could have for us here, they do have the junkyard club, which a little bit of boosted damage, 6 damage on each of our weapons would actually be pretty nice. I would also like the repair bot, increasing our bushel heal. There's really a lot of good stuff for us that the scrapper could give. Honestly, this rust skill at the start of each fight, slow 1 item for 3 seconds, pretty good too. And yeah, beat the rogue scrapper pretty handily here. Gives me a lot of confidence going into the next fight. And we got some barbed wire. Okay, barbed wire. We do have this tusked helm, so that's not nothing. Let's take a look at what we got for our shops. We have cinders, B1, B2, and JJ. Let's go to B1, B2. Getting an upgrade on this Ganjo is going to scale our items even more into these fights, and it'll probably allow us to smoothly work through the first couple fights against different players. Let's see, we have Midsworth, Mountain Pass, and Guard Locker. Now getting a shield item could be good for a bushel. Midsworth could have a large item, which for Pygmalion is generally what you want to see, but I kind of want to guarantee that going into our next fight we have a good chance for victory here. So I'm going to go to the Mountain Pass. Notably, I could take this income, and that is actually very tempting. Let's think about that for a second. I was really wanting to do this choice where I gain 2 gold and 1 experience, because that would allow us to level up right now. Do we think our board would need help into the next fight? Honestly, no. However, getting experience is just very powerful. But not maybe even more powerful than income, but I think I'm going to take the experience here. This will give me a much larger amount of HP, get a little bit of buffer room into the next fight. I can put some more items on the board. I think that'd be very powerful. Right, so we've leveled up. We don't have any properties, so we're not going to gain any money from this. Gain 7 from each property we have. We could get a bronze tier item. Let's just take the loot. That's effectively 3 gold, which is not bad for what we're doing. Okay, so let's try and make our board as powerful as possible. This jewelry does go off every 4 seconds compared to the bandages every 5, but the bandages are just doing a little bit more in terms of what they're actually adding to our power level. Either way, they're both shield items, so that's going to help our bushel and our barbed wire. But I'm liking the way our board's looking, so let's get into the next fight. Facing off against another Pygmalion here. It looks like they have a fixer-upper, a Ganjo, and heavy jewelry. So, fixer-upper on board, a day 2 Pygmalion is generally something you never want to do. Never want to be in the position to have to do it, but hey, sometimes you have to. Notably, fixer-upper does go off every 4 seconds, so that is a lot, but we have a ton of damage compared to the shields that they're putting out, so looks like we're going to win this fight pretty easily. Even a nice little crit on the way out. Appreciate you, Halliday. Let's get into day 3. Okay, B1, B2 has come back again. We could look at some non-weapon items, could gain some shields. There's nothing I have that I really want to upgrade. And we're going to get an upgrade regardless when we level up. I'm going to go to look at some non-weapon items here. Okay, so we have our first new item here, Hot Stones. Every 6 seconds burn 3, gain 3 regeneration for the fight. Looking on right here, this item looks to be very slow, but the regeneration is very powerful. Regardless, we have no way to really scale that, and that makes me want to look at some of these other items here. Looking at a fixer-upper, the fact that this fixer-upper is silver tier is in some ways even less enticing, just because it costs more gold, and we're going to naturally level it up anyway. However, having something to scale is very strong and something we generally want to do. I also like cargo shorts. I think cargo shorts is actually rather powerful. It synergizes pretty well with our Ganjo if we put it next to it. And ultimately, if we want to do something like a Beast of Burden build, I think that would be very powerful. Having a Ganjo is pretty good with Beast of Burden as well. I think I'm going to take the cargo shorts. Now let's go back to this fixer-upper. I don't have any way to scale it currently. It is a premier endgame item that we would want to ideally start scaling now, but I'm not inclined to take it here. I think I'm gonna roll past it. Let's roll past it. Okay. Land scraper, not a bad item, but going off every 10 seconds is kind of difficult to justify for a pretty long portion of the game. Silk scarf at bronze, not really what we want to see, but a signet ring. +1 income and permanently gain 10 XP or 10 max HP every time we are at every hour is pretty good. So let's take that. And let's get on out of here. Okay, so cinders offered again. We could look at some more small items, gain some chocolate bars. My small items, they're honestly pretty decent. I could look for something like a matchbox, which is a premier small item early on. But from this point, I want to, I think, start looking for how to maximize on these cargo shorts. And let's just put this on board and see. It does the same amount as the bushel. So yeah, let's just keep the bushel in play. I am going to actually get some chocolate bars here. Chocolate bars may look inconsequential, getting 50 max HP, but I want you to think about what the early turns look like and early fights look like against opponents. Generally, you're doing 10 damage, 20 damage, things of that nature. Chocolate bars giving you 50 max HP, that could be the difference between life and death a lot of times. Having that little bit of bump over your opponent does go a long way. So I'm going to sell these off here. I'm actually also going to keep one of these chocolate bars around because that is going to give our cargo shorts another item so that it'll scale off of. The bushel, also a food here. But realistically, I don't want to keep the bushel around in my inventory if I do move it into cargo shorts, just because I want to be maximizing off my space here. Let's look at our fights. Rogue Scrapper again, Tempest Flame Dancer, and Scout Trooper. I feel pretty confident that we could kill the Scout Trooper. There's always a little hesitation, I'm not going to lie to you. But with the bushel and with our Ganja, I think we'd be good. The Rogue Scrapper does have good items for us, but let's get the max amount of HP that we can here. So, Scout Trooper. Surprisingly, they do a lot of damage. More damage than you might expect, but they have no natural way of healing. So, if you have a way to sustain through their ammo-based damage, you're generally in a pretty good position to win the fight. So that with our Tusk Helm and with our bushel, we're in a pretty good spot to defeat them. And let's see what they give us. Grappling hook, not a great item, but the XP is what we were really after. Okay, so we have an option to look at some healing items, gain regeneration, or mountain pass. We talked about how important income is, and we're not needing this mountain pass to level up, so let's take the income here. All right. Now, again, I really think cargo shorts are pretty powerful. I could look for another damage skill, and that might honestly be worth it through Pip if I am trying to look for a beast of burden. But I think the cargo shorts, just getting an upgrade on this item, will guarantee a pretty high amount of power for us early on. So that bronze tier to silver tier upgrade effectively gave us 50 more stats. It's healing every 6 seconds. I do like that a lot. Okay, let's look at our items here. And look at our options. We could get some chocolate bars. It's not going to be better than Finn's Big Bite. Getting max HP and regeneration, healing shields, that all be very good. Prospero, though, is very interesting. Getting an economic item that helps us get money or income, or even if we could see like a bronze tier fixer upper early, would be very strong. I feel like my board is pretty strong, so I don't know that I need Finn's Big Bite and regeneration. I kind of like taking the risk on Prospero here, especially if we hit like an ATM. That would give us some more income. It's hard to pass up Finn's Big Bite, I'm not going to lie, but let's see what we can get out of Prospero. Okay, Pig's Gym. Pig's Gym is a signpost. It is an item that will also give us max HP. And when I say signpost, I mean items that are going to give us a direction. Also with a hatchet here, if we sell off our items, we would have an opportunity to get some max HP pretty quickly. I am going to take this Pig's Gym. I am going to do it. But let's see what we have to sacrifice to do it. So I don't want to sell this signet ring. I am going to sell this jewelry box that shouldn't decrease the value of our shorts. So let's do that. Let's get the Pig's Gym. The Pig's Gym is a property and a large item which we don't have in our backpack, so our cargo shorts are now even bigger. And I do want to get this hatchet, and I can actually do so just by selling this tool and getting this hatchet. Hatchet also giving us truffles is pretty nice. Can put that onto the Pig's Gym, increase the value. And also this allows us to sell this chocolate bar because this truffles is food and loot. So let's go ahead and sell that. All right. So feeling pretty strong here. Don't have any money to keep rolling, but let's get into fight on day 3. Against a Vanessa, they could be any sort of build because of how early it is. Probably a weapons-based build, but it looks like they're poison. Okay, the beach ball. Ooh, they have a shielded seaweed. It's very powerful. And they have this crusher claw. Both pretty big here. Let's see how we fare. The shielded seaweed is probably the most concerning item that they have just because of how much shield it is generating for them. And it's making this crusher claw even bigger. So to win this fight, we're probably going to need to get some crits off this Halidai. That said, we do have more max HP than them. So unsure how it's going to shake out. Probably comes down to some timings on the seaweed. Oh man, you don't make it with 44 HP they live. That's pretty rough. Well, they had a pretty strong build. What can you do? Let's get in the next day. Alright. Could get a small tool, get gumballs, silver tier items. Let's look at some silver tier items. Wow. All of these items are incredible. Man, that's super tough. The Beast of Burden, I think, is definitely something we're going to pick up. How we get there, we can figure out. Also, Double Whammy. Double Whammy is one of the strongest pig items you can get, at least in my opinion. And Crook, I don't actually have a build that's synergizing with Crook, so I can safely say I'm not going to get that. But let's figure out this Beast of Burden first. That's our priority. What are we going to sell for that? So we could sell these bandages. Realistically going to take this barbed wire off the board. And we're probably taking this tusked helm off the board too. So can definitely sell the barbed wire. Sell that. And put this Beast of Burden on board. Beast of Burden and cargo shorts. This is a tremendous synergy here. Beast of Burden says it has the types of all the items that you have on board, and cargo shorts has the types of items you have in your stash. So your stash is giving your cargo shorts all these different types, and then your Beast of Burden is inheriting those types from the cargo shorts. So that's very strong. Let's see. Let's talk about this double whammy for a second. So we're getting at least 10 max HP a day. I think I'm going to pass up on this double whammy. And here's my thinking. If I'm playing a cargo shorts build, I don't want to keep a double whammy in my backpack taking up 3 slots. I think that's just not going to be space efficient for us. We already have this pig's gym, which is cutting into what we can have in our backpack for cargo shorts. So I just am not going to have the space that I want to realistically enable having this large item in our backpack. If the double whammy was contributing to the item types for our cargo shorts, I'd do it, but that's not what's happening, so let's keep it moving. And you know what? I'm just reconsidering here our Tusk Helm versus the Deadly Halidai. We'll think about that later. Okay, so we could now get a weapon, we could go to the docks and get some money in an item, or we could go to Curio. Let's go to Curio. We don't have a lot of money, but I would be willing to sell some items for some upgrades. Right. Unfortunately, no weapon upgrades here. Nothing to add damage to our board. And I don't want to reroll. Yeah, that maybe was a mistake. I should have thought about that more. But I didn't, and that's okay. We could buy one of these to scale our pig's gym. And that may, in fact, be worth it. You know, I am going to put this Tusk Helm on board, and I am willing to sell this Halidai. So, let's see what we're keeping in our backpack. For sure keeping this hatchet and this truffles, but we can sell these 3 because they don't contribute to what we're trying to do here. Is this worth, would be effectively 2 gold for 10 HP? Yeah. Let's do it. Sell this insect wing, sell the Halidai, sell the bandages. The insect wing lowers the cooldown of our beast of burden. I'm going to take this frozen bludgeon just so that we can get a little bit more off of our pig's gym. Let's keep it moving. Okay. We see our options: a Hexa, Retiree, and Outlands Dervish. A Hexa would only be destroying our Tusk Helm, and I think realistically we probably want to XP max, so let's go for a Hexa. Also, the reason I put this Tusk Helm on the board here is because it's going to proc our bushel further, and it's going to get better scaling from the Ganjo. The Halidai was potentially more damage overall, but it really wasn't going to be much more damage. And as we saw, the Beast of Burden goes off once, and that's all we need. Ooh, Solar Farm, wow. That's a heck of an item. Sell this bludgeon. Get the Solar Farm. Solar Farm. Haste your items for 1 second. Gain 6 regeneration for the fight. When you burn, you charge this for 2 seconds. Probably not going to be on our board anytime soon. Just because we don't have any flame items, but it is one more type for cargo shorts because it's a tech item, and thus another point of damage for our Beast of Burden. Alright, so with Beast of Burden, you want to figure out how you can scale this thing, scale its damage, and I'm seeing 3 options that are honestly pretty good in front of us. Getting 16% crit chance on a far rightmost item, very strong. Lifting, whenever you purchase a weapon, you get +1 damage on your items. That's pretty strong. But firepower is just guaranteed 25 damage. And realistically, with the Beast of Burden build, I'm probably going to have 5 items or fewer to enable this. So let's go ahead and take that. That's just the biggest amount of damage boost that we can do. All right. Let's look at our options here. Battlefield, Kev's Armor, and Mountain Pass. You know what we talked about. Income, very important. Let's keep getting some more income. And now we have Andy, Artisan Dunes, get some spare change. Artisan Dunes can give us more damage on our Beast of Burden, so let's go in for it. Double this effect, put 10 more damage on our Beast of Burden, so it's effectively 100 more damage every 10 seconds. I'll take it. Is there any consideration for changing these items out? Fighting in Vanessa? I don't think so. So let's get into it. There is also an argument, because it is a Vanessa, that they could be a weapons build, so I would want to have as much healing and shields as possible, and so I should have put the cargo shorts next to the Gonjo. But I also think that if I can maximize my damage, the Beast of Burden plus the Tusk Helm will be what ends the game. And that's what we saw happen just there. Alright, take that victory. And feeling pretty good here. Beast of Burden, very slow item, but when it goes off, as you saw there, it's pretty good. Okay. So we have 12 gold here. Let's look at our options. Could get 5 regeneration. That's not a small amount. For day 5, I would want to see a little bit more, but it is what it is. Could go to the docks, get some money. Could also get a random item. What I'm really looking at here is we have 3 slots on board that we'd be willing to upgrade into a different item. I have 12 gold here. I also kind of want to turn this solar farm into an ATM. The reason I would want to sell this and get an ATM is ATM takes up 2 spaces in our backpack and provides both the tech and property tag, whereas the solar farm is 3 spaces. I don't think I want to keep this around for our build. So all that said, let's look at some non-weapon items. All right, new item here. Luxury kiosk. I gotta look up how to pronounce all these things. Regardless, 8-second cooldown, burn equal to this item's value, and when you sell a property, this item gains 1 value. It could be fine, but I don't think that is super strong. I do like this booby trap, though. Am I willing to give something up right now? I'm honestly potentially willing to give up this pig's gem, which is kind of crazy, but I think I would start with the solar farm. Right, we don't need to do that. We just don't need to do that. So let's not. Let's sell this bushel. Let's take this booby trap. In this booby trap, freeze 1 item for 1 second. When you use a property, charge us 1 second. And notably, our cargo shorts and our Beast of Burden are both properties. So that's going to charge us up pretty quickly. Let's keep it rolling. All right. Rewards card. Probably going to take that. It is bronze. Just not really what I would like. But the passive income you generate from a rewards card is pretty huge. Lemonade stand as well. Lemonade stand is very powerful. We already are kind of scaling through this pig's gem. But would that be better? I don't want to keep having to buy weapons to gain max HP, but I also just don't have the room in my backpack to facilitate this lemonade stand, because the lemonade stand wants you to get like chocolates and gumballs and things of that nature. Gumballs is fine, you can kind of annoyingly just get 1 at a time and sell them 1 at a time, but chocolates you get 5 at a time. Is it also worth spending all my money on? Probably not. I only have 4 gold, so let's just take this rewards card and let's get out of here. Okay. Oh wow, Grandmaster. This could be... Grandmaster sells skill upgrades, and because we only have these 2 skills, it's guaranteed to be one of these damage upgrades. And as we're going to see here, left-handed, we could get even more damage. Could get 10 more damage, or heavy firepower gives us 25 more damage for the upgrade. We're definitely going to be doing this, but what are we selling to get there? I am going to sell the pig's gym, I believe. Just because the tech attribute for the solar farm is important. And the pig's gym, for as good as it was looking earlier on, I'm going to sell it. And I'm going to put the rewards card in this truffles. We can get another chit or truffles pretty easily on pig. And let's take this upgrade. Okay. So we have Sabertooth, Infernal Envoy, and Trashtown Mare as our fights. Trashtown Mare's got to be it. Infernal's not really giving us anything. Sabertooth has a skill that's okay, but Trashtown Mare, and we'll see here in a second, they have this skill Augmented Weaponry. When your weapons have +1 damage, and when you sell a small item, increase this bonus by 1 damage. So every small item we sell would increase our Beast of Burden, which would now effectively look like +11 damage. I know we're violent. I'm sorry, Trashtown Mare, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Let's look at our level up. So you get silver tier item, silver tier loot. Silver tier loot could be cooldown reduction or damage for a Beast of Burden, but capital gains, we talked about income being so important. Let's take some more income. Okay. So you have Lost and Found, can get a small non-weapon item, an economic seminar, or silver tier items. We don't have a lot of space in our backpack as we've talked about, but going to an economic seminar, this can give you just such an incredible amount of value for the money that you put into it. So let's pay our 4 gold, get 2 economic items or skills. Okay, vineyard and jewelry box. How are we going to make room for these? Well, we can sell the pepper spray. And I already have an apparel item that is a... Oh, no, signet ring. There we go. And this tusk helm. I'm going to take that. I'm going to immediately sell it just so we can have room to get our vineyard. Okay. So you could look at heal, regeneration items, chocolate bars, a small tool. What I really want is chocolate bars, but we have no way to maximize off of that, or maximize the room in our backpack because of it. Is there a heal and regeneration item we would like? Cargo shorts upgrade. Gaining a tool could be useful as well. We just don't have a lot of money. I think I'm going to go look at... No, actually, I was going to say, look at these items. We get +1 value on our card and our vineyard. And that would effectively have paid for the rewards card. But I don't know that that's doing much for us. But I'm willing to do it. Let's do it. Okay, new item, Sauna. When you burn, heal 10 and gain 1 regen for the fight. It's very powerful. Not for what we have, but that is very, very powerful. I have to remember that for a future build. Well, anyway, not anything we really want here. I don't want to spend the 4 gold to reroll, so let's keep moving. Okay, anything we want to change for Vanessa? I already have the cargo shorts in the place where I think is going to be better for us, so let's take this fight. It looks like they're undefeated as well. See, looks like they have a lot of burn, a lot of damage. They have a powder keg. Can be pretty scary, and they've slowed our Beast of Burden. It's also a lot of flame and burn on this volcanic vents. So I think it's going to kind of come down to the cargo shorts, or if the Beast of Burden goes off fast enough. And it does. Nice. Wow, a lot of cool new items here. They had a pretty strong build, man. Let's look at that for a second. They had the gold tier burn skill +9 burn on their volcanic vents. They have +3 burn on their lighter. They have just a ton of really good skills. Even having plus max ammo on these different ammo items, that's super strong. And also, what is this? Zorcid, deal 40 damage, haste adjacent items for 3 seconds. When you burn, charges 1 second. That's also very good. And they had a seaweed. Well. Okay, day 6. Now, we have 21 gold to work with. We could get 3 spare change. It's not really doing much for us. The docks is also interesting with our shorts and our beast of burden, because the docks give items from the entirety of the pool of shield items and weapon items and tools. So you could get like an aquatic tool or something of that nature that's pretty hard for Pig to find. That being said, I think there's some non-weapons that we would want for our build. Even something like an ice cream truck. That could be good. Let's see, do we have the friend tag? We do have the friend tag inherently on Beast of Burden. Beehive sells a bee, which is a friend, as they all are in our lives, those precious creatures. Ice cream truck is a vehicle, but it takes up so much space. I don't know that I want to buy that, especially for 12 gold. It's a lot of our gold. It would be another 130 damage, but let's keep rolling. Oh, wow, interesting. Vineyard upgrade. Would we ever want to play Vineyard? When you use another item, this gains heal equal to the value of the items for the fight. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Although, if we do buy this for 12 gold, it is going to gain more value. And for 12 gold, let's see. Like, what is that? What is math? How do we math? 6 days until it would have paid for itself to upgrade? Yeah. Not that tempting. Not that tempting. Let's keep moving. Okay, getting an additional XP. We have not really any small weapons we'd like to sell. Small items, rather. But Barkun could have an upgrade for our items on board. Additionally, 1 XP is 1 XP. Can't argue with that. Let's think about this XP for a second. So we'd gain an XP, we'd be 1 away from leveling, and then we'd go to a fight. We would gain probably 4 experience. So then we would need, we'd have the be +3 experience. You need 8 to level. So then 1, 2, 5. Yeah, we're probably not getting there. So let's look at Barkin. We see another double whammy. See this balcony. Balcony would reduce the cost of our beast of burden. So that's interesting. And double whammy, we're not really getting to where we want that way. I think I'm gonna reroll here. Oh, these are some interesting items. Cold room. Freeze 1 item for 1 second, 10-second cooldown. When you freeze, gain 3 regeneration for the fight. When your enemy uses an item, charge this 1 second. It's pretty strong. Also with the snow globe, it says +1 multicast for each adjacent property. So these items synergize so well together that I'm inclined to take them. We can sell our vineyard. And it may not be better than the Ganjo, but I like doing this. I like putting the cold room on the board here. The booby trap is going to be going off when the beast of burden goes off. And it's just going to give us a good amount of regeneration. I also kind of want to spec on this snow globe. It's also a toy. Now that I think about it, we don't have... Oh, we do have a toy right here. So I'm going to take it. I don't even know if I'm going to run it right now. The reason I'm getting all these items here is because if we get an ice club, that could be even better. than a beast of burden. All that said, do I want to put the Ganjo on board? I mean, it doesn't matter too much, I don't think, either way. I kind of want to just see how this operates. I think we're going to be able to dispose of the lone shark either way, and we are going to XP max here. These other fights don't have much for us outside of, I think, a skill that can haste our weapons, which would obviously be good, but I just want to see what this looks like. Okay. So the cold room is good, but it's gone off 7 times, 8 times. Ooh, ATM. Nice, nice, nice. Can sell the solar farm. Take the ATM. Oh, I should have looked at our board too, but that's okay. Alright, so we have an upgrade, or we can learn a skill. I think what I'm going to do is this as well. The booby trap is good, but I don't think it's going to be going off more than cold room. And cold room also gives us regeneration, so I like that. What else do we have here? Yes, an upgrade. Okay, upgrading Beast of Burden. Let's see what that does. I'm going to go to our howbazaar.gg. I think actually I don't need to. I know that this gives us more damage, and more damage, hey, that's more damage. So let's do it. What was that, plus 20 damage, 25 damage? We'll take it. Alright, what do we have here? 140 max HP. Aerodrome could be anything, or medium items. Medium items sound pretty enticing to me. Hate to skip out on the max HP, but let's see what we see. Okay, Aurora Dome. When you freeze, your shield items get +5 for the fight. That's fine, but not really anything that we want. Let's keep rolling. Lion's Cane. It's a heck of an item. If we buy this Lion's Cane at the very least, it's going to give us another 100 max HP on the next day. So I feel inclined to buy that. And let's sell this booby trap off. Do we want weights? We already have a tool, right? Yes, our hatchet is a tool. Robe we don't need. Let's take this Lion's Cane. Okay. Mr. Moreland. Could look at some properties. Could also just get guaranteed damage on our Beast of Burden. You know how I feel about that. I'm also realizing that this Tusk Helm... Oh no, it's getting damage from heavy firepower. Nice, nice. I thought it was for somehow eating our left-handed buff, but that's not the case. Do we want to look at properties? Not really. Unfortunately, not really. Yeah. Not really. Do we want to get Jules Cafe? Could get a damage buff. Let's just get the permanent damage buff here. It's going to be +5 damage, which is currently +55 for us, so snap that off. Alright. Do we want to change anything for Vanessa? Looks like they've lost, let's see, day 8. So they've lost a couple times. They lost her early, it looks like. Now they're gaining some steam. There's a consideration for the snow globe, but I don't think that it would have to be like this. Huh. I don't love it. Don't really love it. Yeah. Let's put this cold room back in. And let's put the pants where they should be, or the shorts at that. Okay, what do they got? Got some crit chance. A one weapon build. Okay. So, Cold Room is not going to be as effective, but my hope is that we can get like one freeze off. Oh, no. Wow. The crit got us. We did have enough damage to go through the one weapon, but turns out that the booby trap would have been better than the Cold Room. That is what it is. Okay. So day 7 here, could look at some more properties. Oh right, this is Lion's Cane. I don't know why I thought it's every day that you get the max HP. It's whenever you level up. How much damage is this doing? 219. Not the best. Gumballs. Gumballs would be very good with our Beast of Burden. But I really want crit and attack damage. Properties. Again, I don't really want any specific properties, so let's do some gumballs. Yeah. No, we're looking for crit chance. And I am gonna go all the way in here. Okay. So we can get a shield, get some chocolate bars, look at some health and shield items. Let's look at some health and shield items. Oh, shield monocle. That's a pretty decent one. Let's sell this. Could kept it around. I like the shielded monocle just because it's a tool and apparel item, so that would allow us to sell this and even the signet ring. Or I guess even the tusked helm. But outside of that, it's not a fantastic item. I am going to buy it, though. Fixer-upper, shield, jewelry, hogwash. Not really the things that we want. But I can put this in here. Could sell this. I'm going to keep that around. Property, tech, toy. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Treasure Turtle, just put some more damage on the board, just so we get the fight over with quicker. I'm thinking about that last Vanessa fight there, and thinking about how powerful we currently are. I think that Vanessa just had a pretty powerful set of items, so I'm not too concerned about where we're at. Our survivability is a bit lacking, and thus I would want something to kind of help bridge that gap. I'm even looking at this Cold Room here and thinking that it may not be strong enough to keep on our board. Toughness. Shield skills. Shield skill items get plus 15 shield. Not bad. Okay. Orlin has gold tier skills. Healing regeneration. There are some good gold tier skills, but let's look at weapon skills. I just want to put more damage on this thing. And we could put 25. Frozen shot is interesting. Your weapon's cooldowns are reduced by 5% while your enemy has a frozen item. I don't think this stacks if they have more items that are frozen, and another 25 damage is big game, so let's just take that. Okay. So we don't have a ton of gold, and JJ could have anything. I am kind of just looking at this Cold Room and thinking it's not as good as I thought it would be. I wonder if the snow globe would be better. Freeze one item for 1 second, freeze one item for 1 second. Thing is, this gives us regen. It's not like Crazy Man regen. Ideally, we'd want more in place so that we're getting more regen, but none of the freeze items in the game go off that quickly unless they're like an enchanted item to warrant that 3 regen getting to a place that would matter. So this is all to say, should I look at JJ? I think we do. Okay, I do like shipment a good amount because it can get us some items that we cannot find on Pygmalion normally weapon types for or types of items for our Beast of Burden. So I'm going to sell the cold room. I'm going to buy the shipment. I have to sell something else though. Am I really going to sell a signet ring? It's doing good things for us. Do I sell the lion's cane? And I don't have toy anywhere else. Let's put this in. Sell that. No. Tough. Tough. Food and loot. Property toy. You know, I am going to sell the signet ring. I don't like it, but I do think that this shipment is enough of a high roll that it could be very strong. I'm not going to sell it just yet, because if I see Quixel, then I can sell it for more gold, but I don't see that, so let's sell it now. Okay, so we have a tool, a potion. Potion is nice. We didn't have that before. We already had a tool. Yep, tool somewhere. Oh yes, tool's right here. So we don't need this. It would give us more for our cargo shorts. And ointment is something that we can sell. But the potion's a good pickup. All this said, do I want to go to Curio? I would have only really like 4 gold to work with. Yeah, I don't love that. So let's just go to Jules Cafe. Let's take this plus 25 damage. And let's fight this Vanessa. Oh, I'm also realizing these are not in the right place, but I already clicked the button. See if that costs me. What are they working with? Water wheel, poison, seaweed. Wow, this catfish is pretty big. Let's see if our Beast of Burden can fight through it. It's probably going to need to go off twice. Alright, 322. They are putting a good amount of poison on us. Unfortunately, I think the seaweed is going to outscale us here in terms of its healing. And yeah, wow, shielded catfish. 64 poison on that thing. Pretty good. Okay. Alright, so what do we have here? Curio. Let's take a look at Curio. Nice. So, you know, we can sell these 2 items. Put that there. Can get the Junkyard Club. Get the Insect Wing. Any of these things we don't have. We don't have a vehicle. It's not really something I'm willing to keep in the backpack. Let's roll. Alright, more cooldown reduction, crit chance. Let's buy those things. Is this giving anything? Nope. Insect wing. Sell that. Agility. Take the gland. Take the feather. And we're not slowing. So, I think it might be time to also think about taking this Ganjo out as well. But it is providing, I think we would want like an apropos chapeau. Anyway, let's, I know I don't have a lot of money, but I kind of want to look to see if we find anything off Kev's armory anyway. I would be willing to sell this lion's cane now. After 2 bad fights, we kind of need to get something rolling here. Shielded hot stones. Shield equal to 10 times this item's burn. So to be 50 shields every 6 seconds. Not bad. But not incredible. We do want to keep 5 items on the board here for our heavy firepower. So none of these are looking great. I am going to roll just to see if we can find anything incredible. We do find apropos chapeau. Nice. So let's buy it. Let's sell this. We can sell our Gonjo. Get our apropos chapeau. This is just going to be doing even more damage and shield scaling for our items, and it will even allow us to put the snow globe in between two properties. So, all good stuff. All right. 249 max HP from our level up or silver tier loot. Again, cooldown reduction is kind of the name of the game here. Is that going to be better than 249 HP? It's probably like one shot from an item. Yeah, let's take it. Okay. Can we beat the dragon? That's a great question. That's a great question. Let's look. Let's look. I think realistically with the dragon, we probably have to have our Beast of Burden go off twice. With the apropos chapeau, maybe it crits, but I'll pull it up for us to all see. So here's the dragon, bazaar.gg. So the dragon has 3,675 health. They'd probably put enough burn on us after the dragon heart goes off twice. Be pretty close. They have 20 regen as well. Trying to think of if the car conductor would have anything we want. They would actually have Captain's Wheel. And Captain's Wheel would help us out a lot. Yeah, as much as defeating the dragon would give us a lot of HP, or a lot of XP rather, we would still not be leveling up on this day, so let's go for the car conductor. We also have a vehicle. But yeah, cooldown reduction from this encounter would be huge. Even a propane tank? Well, I guess this is a vehicle. We get goggles. Okay. Not really what we were looking for. Twin tool apparel. We already have that here. So it means we could sell our Tusk Helm. Okay. So we could get some gold tier chocolates. Could get some medium items. Medium items, I'd really want to get, was it gramophone? I think it's one, the big cooldown reduction item. I could also look at Pearl's dig site. That could be pretty valuable for us just because it could be another type that we don't have. So let's take a look at that. Primordial depth charge. This is pretty good. We don't have any aquatic items to support it unless we got another one in our backpack. Cove. Plasma rifle. Hell of a weapon. You know, it's funny, we had so many good burn items that were given to us that there probably was a pretty good burn run that we could have made. Cove is an aquatic property. Already have property. I am willing to sell the Lion's Cane too, so aquatic could be pretty good. All that said, let's see what else there is. These items. Narwhal is aquatic and friend, but we already have friend, so that's not too big. Let's roll. Gatling gun. Gatling gun is interesting because we have heavy firepower. So if this gets rolling, it would do some pretty good work, honestly. But it's not really keeping us alive. Okay. Now I'm looking to see here if we want to sell anything to keep going further. Do another reroll. So what do we need in our backpack? We need this Truffles, food, tool, apparel. We already have that on board, so we don't really need that. We don't really need the tusk helm, so I'm willing to sell these two. Let's hit this button. Another potion. Pretty good potion at that. Freeze one small item for every 2 seconds. Gold chocolate bar, brass knuckles. I'm just going to take the rainbow potion here. It could potentially go on our board. It's slightly better than the shield potion. And let's keep going. So we don't have any money right now for Ayla to see some weapons. Could gain 5 gold, but let's fight a monster here. You know, interestingly, we didn't think we could level up if we beat the dragon, but if we were presented this, a monster fight, we could. So a little unfortunate, but also wasn't guaranteed that we're beating the dragon either way. I think we might have needed a crit to actually do it, so not feeling too bad about that. Alright, Infernal Frigate, what do you have for us? Thrusters. Golden thrusters at that. Huh. You know, looking better to me. To get this beast of burden, see from 9.2 to 8.1. Yeah, we'll take it. And let's have the apropos chapeau go off a little earlier too. Alright, Dooley. Let's see what you got. 1 XP away from 10, which is a bummer, but is what it is. Alright, they have a hasted Bellylista friend build. This is pretty scary. We do have enough damage to potentially just one-shot them, so let's hope that happens. Okay, we one-shot them. Well, you know, 12-shot them, but neither here nor there. And we're gonna level up. Okay. Healing Beast of Burden. I mean, it's good. I really would want my Beast of Burden to just have, like, more damage. So let's think about that. We could guarantee the heal, or we could try and spike a damage Beast of Burden. Let's look at our options. So, Bazaar.gg, we're looking at Beast of Burden here. So we wouldn't really want Golden. Radiant would be good. Slow, not so good. Toxic, good. Obsidian, good. Icy, good. Fire, good. Turbo, no. Multicast, doesn't matter. Shielded, doesn't matter. So there are more hits on a random enchantment that we would want than just getting restorative. Restorative is, don't get me wrong, incredibly strong, but I want maximum damage on the Beast of Burden, because I don't think that getting into the later days here, that surviving is going to be how we win. We're going to need to do as much damage as we can, so let's give this a random enchantment. And we got restorative anyway. I feel like this happens a lot, man. I feel like that happens a lot. But whatever. It's not the worst. It's just not exactly what we want. But hey, I'll take it. Okay. So we could sell the shield potion. Don't necessarily need to do that right now. Lion's Cane, 8 gold. So we kind of like 27 gold that I'm willing to work with. Let's see what non-weapon items there are. Wow. Here's some good items. I do want the booby trap and the bootstraps. That's 40 gold, jeez. How would we accomplish 40 gold? Not without doing things that I don't want to do. That's the long and short of it. So, it's maximizing on our gold here. we could sell the lion's cane and the rainbow potion. That's 12 plus 19 is 31. One short of the boots. We want our property in tech. This is tech. We want our food and loot. We want our tool and apparel. We have apparel here. Apropos chapeau. Do we have a tool on board? No. We do not. This is pretty tough. Is there a world where we sell the chapeau? Put just like ATM on board. Yeah. If we're willing to do that, then this is 8, 12, or 8, 16, 35. We want 40 total. How badly do we want this upgrade? Honestly, not that badly. Cold room also pretty good with more freeze items. Freeze 2 items for 1 second. Wow. Getting a little more convincing there. So if I went for the cold room and the snow globe, I could play those. I wouldn't be scaling my beast of burden. Well, let's buy this snow globe. I'm gonna do that. And this cold room is so enticing. Gain 6 regen for the fight. So every time this goes off, could even move some things around. Oh no, we can't do that. So we would get 12, 18 regen every time that goes off. This would be going off and give us another 12. It's pretty strong. It's pretty strong, man. I'm gonna buy it. I want to see how it works. I really would have liked to get these diamond bootstraps. The reason that I did not try even harder to get them is because we have so many items in our backpack to facilitate this beast of burden that bootstraps could have been giving like diamond tier to our shield potion or something like that. It's not as high value as it looks. And be willing to sell this rainbow potion. Be willing to sell the apropos chapeau probably if I found something I really wanted. It is our only. Oh no, this is apparel. So I have 8 minus the 2 here, 6, 9 gold. Yeah, it's not enough to warrant the reroll. Okay. Could look for an upgrade. Could spend some money on gumballs. I'm just gonna get the 5 gold here. And yeah, going off a little faster. Okay, Death Knight Reaper. Let's look at Death Knight Reaper. Here they are. They have the Shadowed Cloak, which is very good. They also have Sapphire, but it's really can we kill them? And I think we could. Our Beast of Burden have to go off twice though, because they have so much HP. It's a little sketchy. We could also get again a Captain's Wheel from Blood Raider, and they have a cooldown reduction skill, and they have a Crow's Nest. Yeah, I think there's just some really good hits off this Blood Raider. We can't get even more heavy firepower, that'd be great, but this full arsenal, that'd be a huge, huge get for us. All that chomping. Very hungry beast of burden. Give us a boat. The boat's a boat. Alright, sell this potion. Take the boat. It's another type for us. And what do we have here? Max health, shield, Economic items. Economic items are tempting, but I like getting some max HP here. Could go even higher on our Beast of Burden, and I think I will. And heal and regen items. You know, there might be even like new items that I could be wanting to look for here, but let's fight some monsters. Elite Duelist, you are a hideous monster. Their lifesteal skill will be pretty nice. Outside of that, I don't know that we really want much from them, but we'll take what we take. Spices could be pretty good too, man. What you got for us, buddy? Shoeblade. Alright. Did I just pass on that? I mean, let's see. Aquatic vehicle weapon. Nice, aquatic. We didn't have that before, did we? Anyway. Yeah. Apropos chapeau. Is that more powerful? I mean, it probably is more powerful in Cold Room. I kind of want to just use the new item. So let's do it. Then we level up. Let's see. Unique skills to Pygmalion. Could they get like properties, cooldown reduction? There are some really cool synergies there. We could fish for more damage. Like crit chance. I kind of want to just see if we can do something crazy here. 5-year items reduce their cooldowns by 4%. And then Boar Market have plus damage equal to their value. Yeah, let's do it. Little damage upgrade on the Beast of Burden never hurt nobody. Alright, seeing a Pygmalion here is a little worrisome because they could have a build that just scales much higher than I have. Let's see what they got. Looks like they have a burn build, a burn and freeze build. Woof. Pretty concerning for us because of how much HP they have as well. Let's see what happens here. They're going to be gaining a lot of regen, probably more than we are dishing out ourselves. This is going to be an interesting fight. I think if the Beast of Burden goes off enough times, we'll get there. And it has to crit as well. But yeah, man, they put so much burn on us. So, so close. But we do end up being defeated there. Okay. Well, let's look at an enchantment here. Haste. Haste. Haste seems pretty good. What are we enchanting with haste? Let's see. Let's look at what the cold room haste enchantment looks like. Haste 2 items for 3 seconds. What does the snow globe look like? Haste 2 items for 1 second. Okay. Well, let's put it on the cold room. Haste 2 items for 3 seconds. Hopefully that'll be good. That kind of makes us a little more committed to having this on board when I think we were probably better off just having the apropos chapeau on board, but it is what it is. Let JJ, let's look at some items. Ice cream truck, abacus, space scraper, not really doing it for us. And neither are these. Upgrade an item, huh? Okay. Oddly, it might be like thrusters. It's not what I want to do. Cold room upgrade. Let's see, cold room. It would freeze 3 items for 1 second. And the Beast of Burden, that would just be adding damage. give us 25 more damage, which is not insignificant. I think that's what I'm gonna do. It's a lot more damage. Void Golem. Void Golem destroys either our cargo shorts or our Beast of Burden. We're pretty dead. So let's go Boss Harrow here, because Boss Harrow could give us some more damage on our Beast of Burden. And even some crit chance. Okay. The unfortunate thing about a Beast of Burden build is it doesn't scale super well into the late game comparative to most other builds. And Runic Double Bow. Is that somehow going on our board? It's not nothing, but let's look at some skill upgrades. Phonograph would be pretty good. Phonograph is kind of like exactly what we need. Is it even called a phonograph? So what would we be upgrading here? So we would kind of be guaranteed either to get Boar Market or left-handed. Both of those are good enough. It's not guaranteed that we get the item we're looking at there. Let's get 10 more damage, so 130 more damage here. And yeah, let's sell this double bow. And let's get a gold loot item for our level up. Crit chance, thank you, thank you. We'll take that. And we already have the Diamond Beast of Burden. And Atlatl could be interesting. We could put an Atlatl on board and it would have, in the right position, plus 105 damage. And that, if it maybe was like, no, there's no way. Even if it was diamond, it would have 155 damage, so it wouldn't be going off that fast. Let's get some gumballs here. Put you safekeeping in the backpack. Oh, hit 5. Didn't want to do that. So now we have less gumballs overall. But whatever. You make mistakes. Buy and sell these gumballs. Got some crit chance, got some damage. And okay. This is what we're running here. Let's see what this Vanessa has in store for us. Looks like they're on their last legs as well. Okay, these look to be a pufferfish haste build. They do have a seaweed. This can get pretty scary here. They froze our turbo cold room. Alright, you're up, Beast of Burden. Going pretty quick here. Nice. Our Beast of Burden gets us there. We saw that it crit a couple times, which is what we needed. Keeps us staying alive. Freeze on our turbo cold room was a little scary, but hey, we got out the other side. Okay. Midsworth could have small and large items for us. I think I'm just going to take this Jules Cafe damage upgrade. Could get some large items. Kind of having a lack of imagination here on what that could be. I think I just want to go gumballs and try and get crit chance on our beast. Could also get guaranteed damage. Yeah, it's probably better. Get gold tier, so it's plus 130 damage. Not a bad deal. Okay. Trash Titan has a good skill for us. Veteran Octopus could have the crit chance skill. It would also give us the most XP. It's probably what I'm going to do just because I know I can defeat it. And I don't know, if it gave us an octopus, that'd be interesting, I guess. Let's do it. Getting 5 XP over getting 2 XP is pretty big. And again, feeling pretty confident that we can take this octopus down. We are healing and doing so much damage with our Beast of Burden. It's also proccing our cold room tremendous amount of times. Also just thinking about an upgrade to the snow globe here. Okay, tiny cutlass. Let's take upgrade an item, gold tier skills. Let's look at gold tier skills. First 6 times you use your rightmost item each fight, charge 1 freeze item for 1 second. Is there any way that I could... I mean, I could do this. It could be pretty strong. Also, that is not bad either. I don't have a shield item that was really scaling my Beast of Burden. Yeah, let's take Coolant Leak, I think, here. And then we could do this. Okay. Let's look at some non-weapon items. We have a ton of gold here. Doesn't look like what we want. Chameleon Drum's interesting. We'd have to give up the snow globe and the thrusters. Thrusters is kind of enabling us to go off faster on everything that we really care about. And freezing 3 items for 1.5 seconds is no small thing. But this would, Jabalion Drum, effectively mean that every time our Beast of Burden went off, that it would go off very quickly and be scaling damage. I don't think it's worth it. I mean, it is very good, but it's not the way that I want to enable this. I think this Beast of Burden needs to go off as fast as possible. I'm not really willing to sacrifice anything less. Let's look at JJ. Oh, roll past that one. Okay, we talked about this. Apropos chapeau, is it just better? It might very well be. Sell this cutlass. So this would be 35. Yeah. Would be a good amount more damage. Let's do it. Might be a mistake, but additionally, with the Coolant Leak, first 6 times you use your rightmost item each fight, I'm going to charge this again instead of charging the snow globe. And that's really what I want to be doing. So I think this could be better. We'll see. We'll see. Let's run it. Alright, looks to be some sort of damage build. Yeah, damage build, slow build. They're doing a good amount of damage here. Beast of Burden going off. And looks like it's just chewing right through them. Nice. Heavy repeater. Interesting. And a hasted turbo Uzi. And the obsidian double barrel. Wow. They had a good amount of damage, but luckily we had a good amount of healing. Okay. Day 12. I'm gonna go to Jules Cafe here, get another temp boost. 25 damage. Our Beast of Burden goes a long way. And let's look at some medium items here. Cash cannon, open sign. Weapon properties adjacent to this have damage equal to 1 plus the value. So how much is this giving us? 30 compared to 48? Yeah. That is better. That is better. Okay. So this is also giving some shielding to our cargo shorts. Not the most relevant, but I don't foresee the You just give us the diamond one? You just give us the diamond one that's going to be probably more? Okay, okay. So this is going to go up 5 times. This is 60 compared to 48. The thing about the open sign, though, is that it doesn't take any of the hasting from the turbo cold room. So when this goes off, it is more likely to hit the beast of burden than it is to hit an item if it was here. That could take the cooldown. Or just it's more likely, yeah, to get hasted in general. I kind of like that. That's crazy though. Huh. 60 versus 28. I mean, it's just a bigger number, man. It's just a bigger number. Bigger's bigger. Can't complain about bigger. Okay. Looks like we're in the same situation we were in before. We only have one small item. Let's go through this veteran octopus. They could give us a slightly more crit chance, but it's really that 5 XP that I want. Getting more upgrades, more skills, just more max HP truly would be huge. What a hungry boy. I'm also looking at that 73 regen, not a small amount. And do we have a toy? Tool apparel. I don't think we have a toy. So we can't even take that. Which is kind of crazy. Wow, yeah. This is tech. This is apparel. This is our only other tool, and this is our only aquatic item. Oh, wow. Alright. Well, let's, yeah, not take this tiny cutlass. Keep going. Okay. Diamond skills. We leveled up. Let's get some diamond skills. When your enemy uses a weapon, your shield items gain 10. Nah. When you visit a merchant, plus 25 max HP. Plus burn. Nope. These are great. Your items have plus quick transfer of a weapon that you have. And notably, the cargo shorts is actually a weapon because we have a weapon in our backpack. First 8 times you shield charge 1 item. Let's get 12 crit chance. It's not what I wanted, but it's what I'm going to take. Okay, and as we discussed, I don't think we can sell any of these things anymore, right? We have no other toy. This is food loot, and this flagship just takes up so much room. Property tech, tool apparel, yeah, property tech, tool apparel, toy, food loot, potion, and then aquatic and vehicle. I'm doing all that just because I really want to go here, like desperately. I think this could be way better for us than any of these other options. Yeah, but I really don't want to sacrifice a single point of damage on this beast of burden. So, gonna keep moving here. Man, that sucks. That's okay. Hey, this thing, that thing, nope. Upgraded cargo shorts, huh? Why not? Restorative subscraper, good item, but not what we're doing right now. And Nufu, let's get a skill. Okay. So this is going to get even more damage. When you use a property that could deal 21 damage. That doesn't... So I guess it's 21 versus 48. Let's look at that skill real quick. Ore market. Yeah. And upgraded skills have times 2 value, so that would just be more damage than the commercial zoning. So we take it. And here we go. Let's fight this pig. Day 12, pretty scary, but we are fighting. We are fighting. Heavy fixer-upper. Kind of scary here. I was gonna say we're really gonna need this turbo cold room to go off. It looks like our damage is gonna be way better than theirs though. And we are scaling pretty nicely with the apropos chapeau. Come on, beast of burden. Keep biting, brother. Keep biting. Now they have 418 burn on us. That's no small amount. Nice, nice. We get there. Kind of by the skin of our teeth. They were really stacking up burn. Shiny matchbox, man. It's a pretty strong one. But we level up. Okay. Again, I've talked about it. We don't really have the room to sell anything. Yeah. Well, you know, man, I forgot about that. We could have sold the ATM. Yeah. Yeah. Well, didn't see it before, but now I see it. I'm glad I see it now. So, vial of blood. All right. We'll take it. And then Nufu, what you got for us? Whenever, first time you use a large item, freeze one item for 4 seconds. First time you use a large item, shield 20 or shield 20% for max health. So I can take the defense grid. It's just effectively better reserve shield. It's funny. I kind of like taking initial chill here. That'd be a lot of our gold, but it will hopefully help us bridge the gap. And could go for gumballs. We don't have money. Let's just see what we see from Orion. Cool items, bud. Glad you're here. Appreciate you. Could sell that vial. And Lord of the Wastes. Do we want to just go for a damage skill? Lord of the Wastes does have a crit chance skill, which is not nothing. Yeah. Also more XP. I like more XP. It's also just so satisfying to see the beast of burden just keep on chomping. Love to see those biters going, you know? Chomp, chomp, chomp. Love it. Okay, defeated them pretty easily. A bar of gold. That's actually insane. Okay, 40 gold just sitting in our backpack. We'll take it. And then gold tier skills are upgrades. Could upgrade these two. Let's go for a gold tier skill though. That could be even more powerful. Big numbers. Yeah, let's do that. We have the chance, or we have the option here of Noisy Cricket. That is anti-synergy with our heavy firepower. We need 7 items to enable this, and we need 5 items or less. Lethargy. All items cooldowns are increased by 2. It's not really what we want. Big numbers gives us 25% crit chance. Additional on our Beast of Burden. Taking it. And Jules Cafe. More damage on our Beast of Burden. We take it. And what do we have here? Herma. Yeah. Show me what you got. Golf clubs, bandages, sub-scraper. Not what we want. And more items that we don't want. Okay. You know, the hogwash actually could have been interesting, but I don't think that's what we're doing right now. Anything to sell? I sold that. Let's see what you got here, Pygmalion. Again, property build could be pretty scary for us, but this is what we're working with. We gotta work with what we got. Okay, they do have a fiery fixer-upper. Man, that is a lot. They don't have the most HP, so we'll see if we can get through this. Time to start chomping, brother. Beast of Burden's doing what it can. We have 800 fire on us right now. This is not looking favorable for us. Yeah. Unfortunate. This is kind of the worst case scenario builds that we'd be going up against, but we did hold our own. Our Beast of Burden did 27,000 damage. Let's look at our opponent's build real quick. Pretty interesting. They had Obsidian Matchbox, man. That did 8,000 damage, 425 burn. Their Fiery Fixer-Upper doing over 1,000 damage. Their Shielded Bushel, nearly 9,000 shields. Yeah, their build was very strong. I didn't even see this yo-yo. Deadly yo-yo, wow. 60% crit chance on that thing. And I'm also seeing that they had Draconic Rage. When you use a medium item, one of your burn items gains plus 10 burn for the fight. Super powerful, super powerful. Well, we didn't get to 10 wins, but we got pretty close. Again, Beast of Burden builds, not really ones that I think go the distance normally if you're not winning early, but we didn't win early, and here's what where we ended up. Let's see what our rank's at. 33, 39. Let's take it. And sure, probably did some sort of quest here. Charged our items, gained shield by 15 items. You know, we didn't get to 10 wins, but let's do something nice for ourselves, why don't we? Let's open 10 chests here. Got 38 in the bank. Why not? Let's see if we get something cool. Always feels good to pull the big lever, right? Let's do it. Fun. A little shiny double whammy. A little golden radiant sunshine on our Fortress Citadel item that I can't even remember over here. Got a nice little mat for us. Hey, and two of these guys. One gave us 35 charcoal, the other gave us 60. I wonder how that all works. But hey, the gems are the important part, right? Anyway, thanks for joining me here for another run in the Bazaar. I hope you're asleep by now. Jesus, it's been like almost 2 hours. I hope you're asleep by now, but if not, we'll have more videos for you soon. Good night.